Hi, welcome back to Holland Garage. In today's episode, we are going to work on the 1950 Chevy 3100. Last year, when I did the airbags, I kept the 2-inch drop spindles on the front, thinking that will really help lowering the truck, which it did. But in turn, when you raise the spindle height and you go with a 17-inch rim and that rim gets tucked in further, when you go to turn, if you are low on air, the rim will hit the lower control arm, and that's what I've been having issues with. So when I drive it, I have to keep the airbags up just to drive it, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a lowered stance vehicles, having it factory ride height. So in this episode, we're going to take the factory spindles, and we're going to replace them. We're going to put them on and remove the 2-inch spindles, and that should be able to allow me to drop the truck and still be able to drive it without the rims rubbing on the lower control arms. So I need to move the truck over more onto the concrete so I have room on both sides to work. So let's get started on that. Hey guys, this is Editing Holland Garage from the future. I noticed as I was editing this video, my microphone was actually turned inside out, sitting in my breast pocket, rubbing up against my clothing. So in a few of these clips, you are going to hear some audio artifacting. I've went through and I tried cutting out a majority of it. Some of it's muffled. Some of it's just not that great. It sounds like I'm just pressing up against the mic, and I apologize. So just so you guys are aware, in some parts of this video, there will be some weird audio artifacting. So I tried fixing it, but it is what it is. So thanks for watching. All right, I got the rear tires chalked. My noisy jack. Forgot he doesn't like being called Jack. He likes being called Bob. So let's get this thing up high enough to get the wheels off of it. Make sure you put your jack stands on the bottom. Make sure they're in a safe location. They're not going to slip. Of course, we got to deal with the dogs barking. So once you get her jacked up, get your jack stands underneath it, get your back wheels chalked. We're going to start on the driver's side. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this wheel off, look up underneath there and see where all we have to remove. It'll probably be quite a bit, but let's see, as my little Hercules has what it takes. Probably not. Let me go get my breaker bar. Oh, I guess it was set on 1. Let me try it again. Ah, make sure you change the settings. Ooh, that didn't sound good coming off there. Yeah, there ain't much threads left on that one. Good thing I got all new lug nuts. Speaking of hot, it's 92 degrees outside, and the feel-like temperature is 106. I think our saving grace today is a chance of thunderstorms. And hope and pray that my phone don't overheat. Okay, so what I had to do is buy these spacers. I wasn't loving that, but this is the only way that I could get it to stop from rubbing on my lower control arm. I also took a grinder to each side, which I didn't love that either. So we're gonna have to fix that. So now what we gotta do is we got to get the brake caliper removed, get the front rotor off, get the tie rod removed, and then we can start working on the upper and lower ball joint bolts or nuts. Get those going. Well, while I'm wrenching on this thing, I figure I'd tell you guys I spent 2 weeks in Colorado, which was fun. I had a lot of fun. There's 2 things to take away from if you want to go to Colorado. One, all the touristy areas are very expensive. My goodness, gas was outrageous. Like, that's for 85 octane. Here in Indiana, we have 87. That's as low as we go. And heck, it was $4.50, $4.70 a gallon for 85 octane. The second takeaway is Colorado roads suck. My goodness. You'd think you guys would be able to take care of your roads a lot better. That's probably some of the worst riding roads I have ever been on. But would I go back? Yes, I would. The mountains were beautiful. I did a bucket item. I went up to Pikes Peak, rode Pikes Peak. Of course, there's no time trials when I was doing it, but we just took my wife's Jeep and went up to the top. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Loved it up there. And was excited that I was able to do something like that. Gotta get this caliper to collapse. Let's not do it the right way. Let's use an Allen. Fine. Alright, so temporarily we're just going to let that guy kind of hang out there. Generally that's not what you want to do, but that's what we're going to do until I can get a wire to hang it up. Now we should be able to... Nope, I got to remove the cap and get the bolt off, or the nut off there. Okay, now that we got that relatively out of the way, I want to undo my brake line clamp here and then get the jack up underneath this lower control arm to keep pressure on it. So that way when I remove the upper ball joint, the whole thing doesn't just go flying down. Just in case anybody was wondering how the welds have held up. Since I shortened these control arms, I shortened them by 1 inch. So they've held up great. No issues whatsoever. Alright. Oh, apparently I lost the clip that holds that in place. Alright, so now we got to get the jack underneath it. So you support the lower control arm. Doesn't have to put a ton of pressure on it. 15/16. So that's for the bottom. The top is much smaller. which I will have to lower the air in the airbags because I can't get to that top bolt. When you hear it pop, you know you're good. Now that's never a good sign. But I can easily access that. Alright, the bottom is loose. Now, in theory, I gotta get the tie rod off real quick. That shouldn't take much. I'll try not to use a pickle fork if I don't have to. So we'll just try beating the snot out of the knuckle. See if we can get it out there. There we go. Tie rod is out. Now make sure you keep your nuts on the bottom so that way nothing just goes flying out at you. Oh, and it's already loose. Nice. And since I've already loosened up the bottom nut, let's see here. All right. And there's one steering knuckle off. We'll take it to the back of the truck and we'll get everything swapped over. Alright, so now we got the 2-inch drop spindle, and then this is the factory spindle. Let's see here if I can line them up, get this one kind of on the edge, right there, get that one on the edge. You can see the two planes are different. So the problem I'm having, even with a 17-inch rim, it moved it up, so when I go to turn, the inside lip of the rim, and the rim is also set in more than the factory rims. So when I go to turn, the rims rub the bottom of the lower control arm, making it scrape. So you have to raise the truck up to a much higher height to be able to drive it, because you don't want to sit there scraping on the rim every time you're trying to drive it. If you're just sitting there, you're at a show, you drop it down, it's not so bad, you're not moving it. So what we're going to do, get this dust cap off. So loosen the castle nut. So once we get this off, we have to get the rotor dust plate off. I believe there's 3 bolts that hold that on. So I'll make sure my seal and everything looks good. Yep. Seal's nice and taut. Bearing looks good. And then there's my 3 bolts. 3. So in theory, that should just drop straight back into place. Okay, there's that. So much for not getting grease on everything. Voila. Boy, I am just sweating. Boy, it is hot. I'm not going to get this exactly snug yet, so I want to get it on the truck before I set the preload. So now we can put it back on the truck. Well, before I can put the spindle on, I need to get these bump stops out of here. Alright, so got 2 new bolts in here. Now we just need to get the spindle put in place. There. Bottom one's in. Get the castle nut put in place. I don't know why I removed that. I guess it just makes it a little bit easier, but you don't have to remove that plate. I don't know why I did. Let me bring this up. Line that up just like that. Get your castle nut. Put your castle nut in place. We're going to start with the bottom one. I'm going to turn this around this way. Sorry, it's going to hinder your view. Just get this bottom one tightened up. Alright. Bottom one's in. Cotter pin is in. Cotter pin is bent. Now this top one was a 3/4. Get that with a ratchet. Oop, wrong direction. Back at her. Gonna put the pin in an awkward position. So don't forget to put your cotter pins in place. Last thing you want is this nut's backing off. Now, move on to the tie rod. I might be able to get a cotter pin. Yes. Okay. Now we just got to get the brake line hose attached. Get my brake caliper back on. Alright, so I got the brake caliper on. I got the brake hose bracket attached. I got the nut tightened and set. You want to tighten it up to where that's just real hard to turn, and then back it off till you can line your cotter pin up. Then you put your cotter pin in the correct way. Which way does that go? Oops, I put it in backwards. And you put your dust cover on. And then clean up your mess, and then you put your wheel on. So I am going to have to run that spacer. Okay, so regardless, I will have to run that spacer, which is fine. Now I'm hitting at the top, which I knew I was going to be a little close. I was hoping I could just get away with it, but yeah, it's just barely hitting. And I can probably clearance that upper control arm, but I'm not going. We're just going to pull the wheel off. We're going to put the spacer back on it. All good. Because this doesn't fit perfectly on the hub, because it's just a universal adapter, I 3D printed these little rings. You push the ring in there. In theory, put the ring on first. And then, when you put that on, pretty much gets rid of the play. Not all of it, it's better than it was. Let's go put the wheel back on. So what it was doing, it was hitting just up here. Like, I could grind that off and it wouldn't be a big deal, but I may do that in the future. We'll see. But I know running these little 1/2-inch spacers doesn't give me any clearance problems when I turn. Now, will that change now that I can drive the truck at a lower stance? We'll find out. Now I'm only running 2 lug nuts. I need to find my new lug nuts. But this will give me the opportunity to test whether this works. Maybe. Now, can I turn the wheel? There's full lock. No grinding. Turn the wheel the other way. And just keep talking. Oh, what am I hitting here? Oh, am I hitting the jack? I am hitting the jack. Okay, well, we won't worry so much about that yet then. Okay, so it's been a couple days. It's actually sunny today, no chance of rain, thank goodness. So as you can see, we got the tire on. I've only got a couple lug nuts on for the moment because I need to get some. Well, I've got new ones, I just haven't put them on yet. So we have good fitment, and as you can see, the truck sits pretty level front to back, and it's pretty much the same on the other side. Now, going with the stock spindle, we're gaining about 15, close to 20 pounds less of air, which when you're riding on air, that makes a huge difference. So kind of compared to this side. So this side still has a 2-inch drop spindle. And that side might be up just a touch, but we're still looking at about 15 pounds of air difference, switching over from the 2-inch drop spindle to the standard spindles. So now we're going to reverse and we're going to start doing the passenger side. All right, so we got both the front spindles changed out, new lug nuts. A couple of them needed new studs. We had those. We went ahead and replaced those. Both front wheel bearings have been repacked. It's got brand new lugs on all four corners, so she looks good. So now let's just take her for a spin. The biggest thing about my driveway is there's a hump, like a drop in the very front part of it. And the lowest thing on this truck is the exhaust. So if I don't have my airbags in the front at least aired up a little bit to exit and enter the driveway, my exhaust drags. Alright, pump is off. So now Well, there she is. Swapping out 2-inch drop spindles back to the stock spindles helped out tremendously. So I think that should wrap it up for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Have a good one.